This is gonna be a long video and I don't even know where to start. And to be honest, I never even thought that I was gonna be filming another YouTube video. After this, I thought I was done with YouTube, done with social media, done with everything, but the little creator in me and the person that I am that likes to, you know, help others, that little voice just didn't want to be shut down. So that's why I'm filming this. And I hope this video helps a lot of people that were in the same situation or are in the same situation as me. And I hope it also helps some family or friends around me that have been wondering what's been going on with me. Or they're just trying to figure out what it is that I have, because I have semi talked about this but not fully, just because I know people are not going to really understand it. But the month of June is APS Awareness Month, or Hughes Syndrome Awareness Month, whatever it is that you want to refer it to, it's the same thing. I just like to say APS because that's the technical term for it. You may be asking yourself, what is APS? What is this whole video going to be about? Let me give you the exact book definition for it first, and then I'll go into more detail regarding my point of view from it. That way, you know, I explain it in correct terms and not just my way of understanding it. So APS is short for antiphospholipid syndrome, and what it is it's a disorder in the immune system which mistakenly attacks normal proteins in the blood. Antiphospholipid syndrome can cause blood clots to form within the arteries, veins, and organs, and it can also cause miscarriage and stillbirth in pregnant women. It is very rare. According to Google, it says that there's less than 200,000 cases per year. It is a lifelong disease and there is really no cure for it. And not even like any meds, which sucks. Like, you basically just have to suck it up. I'm just gonna give you the symptoms just so you guys kind of get an idea of it. So symptoms may include blood clots, which may occur in the legs, arms, or in the lungs. Also, recurrent miscarriages can be common. Also, shortness of breath, deep vein thrombosis, pain in the affected area, purplish skin discoloration, recurrent miscarriage, or swelling of limb. There's also a lot of other symptoms. You know, APS websites really get deeper into it. But yeah, that is what APS is. So it is an autoimmune disorder. It's basically your body attacking its own body, thinking that it's sick, attacking its own blood. It's pretty scary and crazy if you think about it in those terms, but that's what it is. So I'm gonna move on to how I found out that I had APS. Just my symptoms that I experienced, what got me more into like, hey, I need to do something about this, this is not normal, things like that. Ever since I was in high school, I want to say maybe since I was a freshman, I always experienced like very bad leg pain. But I was in sports, I was in soccer, and we used to train hard, so I always thought it was like soreness maybe. And it wasn't just in the season that I was training, it was also like all year, because I had the class all year. It was an elective of mine, so I always just thought that it was that. But then it kind of stopped, and then it would come back here and there, but I wouldn't really pay any mind to it until recently. I want to say after I gave birth was when I started feeling it like every single day. When I was younger, it would be more like once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month. It wasn't as frequent as when I started freaking out. So I was getting very horrible leg pain. It was like unbearable. I couldn't stand the pain. Even if I took meds, nothing was doing it. I had to get a wooden bat, and hit myself on my legs. Like every night I was hitting myself on the legs because that's how much pain I was in, and that was the only thing that seemed to be helping it. I would also kind of like roll the bat down my legs or my arms, but when I first started feeling these symptoms, it was mostly in my legs. I would put icy hot, I would drink anti-inflammatory medicines like Advil, Aleve. Flanax is a Mexican medicine, and it's meant to like help with inflammation and muscle aches and stuff like that, but none of that was helping me anymore. No matter how much icy hot, or no matter if I doubled up on doses on meds, it wasn't helping me. And my husband started getting very concerned for me. I would never want to go to the doctor, but he's like, hey, that's not normal. Like, you have to go get that checked. What if it's something else? What if there's something up with your blood? What if something's going on, you know? So yeah, I started off with that. It was leg pain. And then it started moving to my hands and my wrists. Like, I would always be like this because it was in constant pain. And then basically everywhere, not gonna lie, it was my shin area on my legs, my ankles and my fingers. Like, for example, this is my foot, it would hurt on this area right here. And then on my arms, it would be my wrist right here as well. And then my whole arm itself, like the joint, it's mainly in the joint areas when it's in my arms. Like right now, I'm feeling it right here. I'm feeling the pain on these joints, or like on this side right here. It was basically everywhere on my arms or my legs. And I was also getting very bad headaches. Like, when I say bad headaches, they were like bad headaches. Like, I would take pills and it wouldn't help me at all. So once the headaches started coming in, I was like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. I need to get checked because now my head's feeling it and something is up, and I was thinking the worst. So I was like, okay, let me go to the doctor. There was a doctor close by to my home. It was more like a clinic. So I was like, you know what, let me just go there. I would take my son there. So I kind of trusted the doctor there, you know. So the first time that I went, I was basically told that it was just dehydration. The doctor did send me to go get some labs done. He told me to get like an all-woman wellness exam. And I think he also checked my sugar and for dehydration, just because I got it done that same day. And he told me come back in 3 days. So I went back and almost everything came back fine. The only thing was that I think my white blood cells were too high or too low. I don't remember because it's been like a couple of years. And my platelets, which I think is like your little blood cells, they were too large. So I was like, okay, that's a little weird, you know. What does that really mean? And the doctor, he just told me like, no, that's fine, it's just because you're feeling like this, your body thinks that it's sick. And I was like, okay, whatever, I guess I'll take the dehydration diagnosis. He told me to take Powerade and to drink water and to take vitamins every single day. So I did that and I felt good for a couple of weeks. He told me to do icy hot rubs as well, which I was already doing. But yeah, that's what I got for the first doctor visit. And then I came back and I was still feeling headaches, and I was like, okay, I don't think this is dehydration. So I was telling my mom about all of this, and she's like, hey, you know what? You might want to mention that one of our close relatives has lupus, because they had the same symptoms and around the same age as you. So you might want to bring that up. You know, tell him if he can send you to go get some labs done for some antibodies or whatever, you know. Tell him, just bring it up to him and he'll know what to send you to get done. So I did that. I went back to the same doctor, and I think he checked for antibodies and some other things. I don't even remember the names of these things. So they checked my antibodies. My antibodies came back normal. Everything came back normal. There was just one thing that was just a little bit off, but it wasn't like too alarming. So he thought nothing of it. He's like, nope, it's dehydration. Just drink your water, exercise, keep taking your vitamins, and you'll be fine. So I was like, okay, basically I got the same answer, but something about the labs wasn't sitting right with me. I was like, if I'm fully healthy, these type of things should come back fine. Like, nothing should come back off or anything like that. So I went to another doctor, and it was kind of owned by the same the same like main owner of this clinic. They had for x-rays and all of that stuff. So this time I wanted to get like x-rays done on my head or something to make sure that I didn't have anything in my brain, because I was feeling so bad. My head was killing me and I couldn't see anymore. I had like double vision and everything. So I was like, no, I need another diagnosis. Like, I need a second opinion. I don't trust what he's saying. I don't think it's dehydration, because I'm always drinking water now and I've been taking my vitamins, so something's wrong. So I mentioned to that new doctor what was going on, but I told him that my main concern was my head. I wanted to get my head checked and make sure that there was nothing wrong with me. So we got it done. They did some x-rays on my head, on my nose area, because he also thought that it was my sinuses. And he basically told me that it was my sinuses and stress. So I was like, okay, I guess something's up with my sinuses. It's allergies. He basically said, take some Zyrtec and you'll be fine. So I was like, oh my god, okay, all right, I guess it's just that. I think I did take some allergy pills, or I didn't, I'm not too sure. But I kind of just brushed it off, because it was like, okay, at least I don't have anything wrong in my head. There's like no tumor showing or anything like that. So I was a little bit more at ease. After all of that, I was still feeling these same bone pains. I was still feeling these aches on my arms and some type of headaches. It wasn't until I moved out of town that it came back all together, and it just like beat me up. Like, I was so scared. I was feeling more muscle aches, more bone pains, more headaches, more double vision. I was very lost. Like, I couldn't really keep my eyes focused on one thing. I was thinking very slowly, and I'm like, okay, this is not me. Like, I'm not one to be very much in like a brain fog type of situation. Like, yeah, I'll get a brain fog like when I'm tired or whatever, but all the time, like it wasn't sitting right with me. Like, I was always complaining, like, oh, my bones hurt, my bones hurt. And my husband at this point, he's like, hey, like, you've already gotten all these wrong diagnoses. Like, you have to get checked again. Maybe you should go to another lab and get some labs done by yourself, and check that it's not lupus, you know, because you do have that possibility that you can potentially have it too, because I think it can be passed down. I think the chances of it getting passed down is 5%. The only thing that I was thinking that it could be that was because the symptoms with me and that other person were like the same. Like, I talked to them and they're like, yeah, I felt this and this and this, and I was feeling the exact same thing. So I called up a lab that was nearby, and I told them like, hey, do you have any tests that check for lupus? And they were like, we don't have an exact test that checks for lupus, but we have several tests that doctors can use to kind of diagnose if you do have it or if you don't. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and get them done. I paid out of pocket. I don't have insurance, and I got them done. And when I got my results back, I was very freaked out because some of them came back off. There was this one in particular that was supposed to be at a 0, and I had mine at a 52. And that one exam that I'm not gonna forget, because I was like, okay, this is like very high, was a anti-inflammatory. It checks to see if you have any inflammation or anything like that. So that one was super high, and it was, like I said, I think it was supposed to be like at a 0 or 10, and mine was at a 52. So that was very high, and I'm like, okay, I need to go to the doctor, you know, give them these labs and see what they say. So I went to another doctor, but this time it wasn't just a clinic, it was like a doctor, and I gave them my labs. I told them about this family member that has lupus, and I told them, you know, all the misdiagnoses that I've already had and all the labs that I already had. I saved all my labs because I wanted to like just keep it just in case. I always keep things just in case. So I gave them to that doctor, and she took a look at it, and she's like, look, I can't really tell you anything right now, and I can't send you to a specialist. At this point, I wanted a specialist for it because I was done with doctors. I was like, I've been paying so much out of pocket and I never got my answer. So hold on, I need to drink water. This is a long story. Okay, so she said that she couldn't send me to a specialist, that even though if she did, which she did want to, she said they're not going to accept you because you need to get labs done for it to make sure that you do fall under his care and that he can further help you, you know, according to the diseases that he looks over. So I was like, okay, let's go get that done. At least I can get a better understanding of the labs that I'm gonna get. It'll be deeper. It won't just be like superficial, like just a woman's health type of lab thing. So she sent me to go get those labs done. I got them done and they came back. The main thing that we were looking for were antibodies, and that came back negative. But there was this one test called the Viper Venom test, and I guess that checks how fast your blood clots up, something like that. And that one came back super high as well. And given that exam and the other exam that I already came out super high for, which was the inflammation one, she kind of got a little bit worried for that. So she's like, yeah, these two came back high. They're not supposed to be this high. Everything else, your antibodies are fine, but these little ones that are coming back negative is still raising a red flag, because if you're healthy and you don't have anything, if you don't have lupus, they should come back negative, but they're coming back positive and they're coming back super high. So she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and refer you to that other doctor, and I'm gonna diagnose you with being a patient that is barely developing lupus. So I was like, oh my god, like I got super sad at that point. Even though I was kind of like mentally ready for the worst, I was like, okay, you know, there's a high chance that I can have it. I was kind of already thinking it. But yeah, the doctor told me, like, you look like you're a patient that's barely getting lupus, or the lupus is barely showing up in your body, because almost all of your labs are coming back fine. Just a couple are coming back negative, and they're coming up like extremely high in the negative area. So that's something that we need to take a look at, but your specialist is gonna be able to help you with that. And they gave me steroids and some pain meds just until I got referred to that other doctor, so that I could kind of have something for the pain, because at that point I was like feeling horrible. Like I can't even explain to you how painful it feels, and it sucks. Like it fucking sucks. Anyways, so yeah, they gave me that referral and they gave me these pain meds. She did tell me to hold off on the pain meds just in case the specialists want me to send me to get some labs done. So I waited almost about a week for my appointment with that specialist, and I never got an appointment until one day the call did go through with the specialist. I guess there's only like 2 doctors in my area that focus on, you know, autoimmune diseases, so it's pretty hard to get an appointment or to get somebody to answer. So that one time that they answered, I was like, hey, I got referred for my doctor, when can I get seen? And the lady's like, oh, in 2 more months we have availability. Right now we're booked. And I was like, 2 more months? Like, ma'am, I'm feeling, I don't want to be rude, but I'm feeling horrible. I cannot stand the pain. I'm a mom. I need to get treated for this. I need to know what's going on with my body, because it was bad. Like I wasn't gonna wait that long. And she's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, like you can call around, but it's only this doctor and another doctor in the area, so everything is gonna be packed. So I can either book it for you, or you can wait and call back. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna look around. So I was looking around. The other doctor in the area was also gonna take about 2 months, and then another doctor in the town that I was living at, because I was checking here in my hometown, but I was checking in the town that I was living at the time, because it's only like 3 hours away, and the doctor there couldn't see me in 1 month. And I was like, okay, like it sucks, like all these doctors are making me wait off and hold off a month or 2, and what if something goes terribly wrong because I'm not getting treated? I was scared and I wasn't willing to wait anymore. So I was like, you know what, Mexico is right next door to us. It's like literally crossing a river. So I was like, let me just check Mexico. Let me look on Facebook. Let me look on Google. See if I find a rheumatologist, because that's what they're called. I was looking for a rheumatologist. So I found one, and I was like, hey, you know, I basically told him everything that I went through. I told him about my labs and how I was feeling. And he's like, okay, yeah, we can definitely see you. I can get you sent to get some labs done right here. It's at the hospital where I'm at, and you can get them done that same day. So I was like, okay, go ahead and schedule me. And it was like the next day, like that I had called, it was the next day when they were able to see me. So I was super relieved. And basically I called my son's godmother. She was in the area at the time, and I'm like, hey, can you drive me back to my hometown because she was in the area too. They were over there too. And I'm like, can you drive me to my hometown? Like, I cannot drive. I am feeling horrible and I need to go get seen by this doctor, you know, tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, no worries. I was gonna head back to town anyway. So she took me, and I'm forever gonna be appreciative of that because I didn't have strength. Like, I was crying every single day because my son, he's very active. He wanted me to be there with him, and I couldn't even get myself to drive because of how bad I was feeling. So I came back home, and I got ready. My mother-in-law, she took me to Mexico, and I went to go see this doctor. So basically he's like, okay, well, tell me what you're feeling. Let me see your labs. And I told him everything, all my symptoms, everything that I was feeling. And he's like, look, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think you have lupus, but I think you have something else that's called APS. And I'm like, okay, what is that? Like, I've never heard of that. And he's like, it's kind of like a cousin of lupus, but it's mainly on the blood. But with all the symptoms that you're telling me, all the bone aches, the foggy, blurry vision, the fogginess in your brain, all of that you're telling me is leaning more towards APS rather than lupus. So I was like, okay. He checked my legs. I hope not, but I think maybe later on, like when I'm older, my veins are gonna show a little bit more. And he was asking me like, do your legs look like this? Can I take a look at them? And I'm like, no, they don't look like that. And he saw me fine, you know. But yeah, he's like, I don't think it's lupus, but I think it's this. But just to confirm that it's not lupus, I'm gonna send you to go get some labs done, and they're gonna check. There's like, I think he said there's like 2 tests that check for it. So if this one comes back negative, this one can come back positive. So that's how we're gonna know. But if both come back negative, then you're fine. You don't have lupus, it's just APS. And we're also gonna check another factor, and that's gonna tell me if it is APS or if it's not APS. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. I did it. And then I went back to get my labs read, and he's like, nope, you don't have lupus. Like, you don't have lupus. These tests came back negative, and they're gonna be able to determine, even if you're on meds, even if you're on antibiotics, no matter what it is, these 2 tests that I did on you, they're gonna be able to tell you if you have lupus or not. And then this other one, which is for APS, which determines if you do have it or if you don't, this one came back positive. So I was like, okay. I was still bummed out because it's, you know, it's still something that has no cure. You know, I was hoping that I was gonna, you know, hear some news like, oh, you're fine, nothing's wrong. But no, he did confirm that I had APS. But at least the idea of not having lupus, you know, kind of calmed me down. Even though mostly everybody that has APS comes from having lupus, but I'm not too sure. I think there's still like studying that. There's not that much info on this, just because of how rare this is. But yeah, basically I told him like, okay, you're sure it's not lupus? And he's like, no, it's not lupus, but it's like, it's lupus, and then there's rheumatoid arthritis, and then there's APS, and then there's something else. So basically that's how he described it to me. But yeah, that's how I found out for sure that I had APS. I got some labs done over there, and now my specialist is over there in Mexico. And then I was like, okay, well, what do we do for treatment? And he's like, well, first of all, this disease does cause like miscarriages or stillbirth. So if you ever want to get pregnant, you're gonna have to come to me first, tell me like, hey, I'm gonna get pregnant. Like, you have to plan this child out because it's not gonna be that easy. You have to come to me, get some shots done, so that way when you do plan on getting pregnant and when you do conceive, you won't have a chance of getting a miscarriage. So that's one. I think he said it was called, he said it in Spanish, eparmina or something like that. It's basically kind of like, this is the way he described it to me, because I still, like, I don't know perfect Spanish. So I was like, ¿cómo es eso? Like, what is that? And he's like, it's basically like an aspirin on steroids in a shot. So I was like, oh, okay. He told me that for that. But then he's like, but if you're not pregnant, you don't have to be getting these shots like every month or every 3 months. But there really is no cure for it. There's no meds that I can give you. And I was like, wait, what? So like, I'm gonna be living with this pain forever, like with these aches and this pain forever? And he's like, Well, not really. What you can do is you can take a blood thinner. You're gonna have to be taking a blood thinner every single day. Um, I take aspirin. That's what he gave me. He doesn't think that I need to take a like full-on blood thinner yet, just because I haven't really had like a blood clot in my heart or something like that. But he says that I have to be taking aspirin every single day just so that my blood can thin out, because a blood clot can end up developing in my brain, in my heart, in my lungs, and it can be deadly. So that's one thing, to be proactive about it. So I'm on aspirin right now. And then he also suggested I take vitamins, and right now I'm taking some that they recommended in Mexico. They're for your immune system, since my immune system is like naturally like weak, like it's basically attacking itself, so it's always gonna be like if it's sick. So I'm taking some immune system vitamins. He gave me some pain meds that they have given me here, but for some reason the ones over there like really help me out a lot compared to the ones here. I think they're called gabapentin, gabapentina. He told me to take those at night for 15 days. So I did that and I was like good as new. I was taking the aspirin, I was taking my vitamins, I was taking the gabapentin at night, and I was like good as new. But then it started coming back. I finished the treatment of 15 days for gabapentin. I was starting to feel it again, so I went to go see him again. Because I wanted to get more labs done, just to kind of see where I was at. But he's like, no, like you're still not due for labs. We gotta wait a little bit more, because I want to see how, you know, if it's changing or if it's advancing or if it's advancing into something else, things like that. So he's like, you're just gonna have to continue taking gabapentin at night. Your aspirin every single day, don't forget it, because I was slacking a little bit when I was starting to feel it back again. And he gave me these other pills, meloxicam, something like that. I think they're for like muscle aches, and he told me to take those when I was feeling pain, like during the day. So that's what I've been on right now. Right now I have been feeling pain again. It has been harsh again. I have been feeling weak again. But I just have to like learn how to deal with this, and like how to kind of be more strong and not let this bring me down, because it has been taking a toll on me, like emotionally. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm like, I want to cry, but it sucks. Like I feel like a lot of people don't really know or understand like the pain that somebody goes through. Fuck, I don't want to cry. But it sucks when it's like a disease that is so rare. A disease that has no cure, a disease that has no medication. I feel like it's hard for other people to understand it. So I'm trying, I'm still trying. I'm on my meds, I'm on my aspirin, I'm on my like pain meds. And even though like sometimes I don't want to take meds because it's also too much, like it's too much for your body, and I'm like, I always think to myself like, I'm barely 23 years old and I'm going through all of this. Like I should be healthy. But I'm not, and I can't, and I never will be. And it just sucks, because the only reason that I wanted to be a young mom was to have this energy to be with my son, to play with my son, with my kids. And now it's like, I can't, like no matter how hard I try, like I can't. And it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on you on the days where you're feeling this pain. Like it's hard. It's hard to push through, and you just can't help but think to yourself like, I'm never gonna be healthy, and this is a disease that's gonna take over me forever, and this is only the beginning of it. So this is kind of why I wanted to bring awareness to this disease, because I know when I got diagnosed for it, there was nothing that I could relate to there's not that much research. It's hard. And also in a way so that other people don't think that I'm like over exaggerating or something like that. Like, I'm not. This is something serious, and it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. I don't wish this pain that I feel every single day on anyone. I don't wish this like on anybody. Like, it's hard. It's hard, and it takes a toll on you. I'm gonna stop crying because I don't want this to be a me crying video. But yeah, that's how I wanted to close out the video, with how I'm doing. I covered how I'm still feeling pain, how it's something that I'm gonna have to live with, and if you're somebody that also has APS and you're struggling with the pain, take your meds. Like, don't be hard-headed. Take your meds. If you feel bad, if you feel a flare-up coming, take those pain pills. One thing that my doctor also told me, my specialist, he asked me if I stress a lot. And that day that I went with him, my husband came with me too, and he's like, yeah, she stresses a lot. And he's like, well, that's one thing that you need to avoid, because it's gonna trigger it and you're gonna feel bad, and you're gonna be dropped again, and you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like the feeling of being in pain. So drink a beer every now and then and let go of that stress. So I'm trying to live stress-free right now. I'm trying hard to not get like my anxiety and stress levels through the roof, but it's hard because you're always thinking like, I can't get stressed, because if I stress, I'm gonna get sick. If I get sick, I'm gonna get stressed because I was thinking about not stressing, and now I'm stressing, and now I'm sick. And all this time, it's just like you're thinking about not stressing because you don't want to feel like this. But yeah, there's some days where I'm feeling fine. There's some weeks where I can't handle it. Like right now, like these last 2 weeks, I've been feeling this pain and it sucks, but there's nothing I can do except cope with it and take my meds and drink some wine, try to de-stress, to hopefully get that cleared out. But I don't know, at this point I feel like, yeah, stress can trigger it, but it's just something that's gonna come, you know, whether you stress or not. It's just gonna hit you out of nowhere. What else? Also, one thing that I've noticed is that the sun sometimes triggers it. Like sometimes I'll be outside, and if the sun is like directly right there, like 3-4 p.m., I'll start feeling these aches. So I feel like the sun maybe takes a part in it. I'm not too sure, but that's just from what I've noticed. And also, oh yeah, I also do bleed a lot. Like I have 2 band-aids right now. I cut myself one time when I was cutting something, and I think it was when I was feeling sick. So I'm a little bit like unbalanced sometimes. And I guess I lost my vision balance, or I guess I lost my vision. I had double vision, or I lost my balance, and I cut myself because out of all these years that I've been cooking, like I'm never one to cut myself, but recently, like this week, I cut myself twice. So this one, it was like about a 1-inch cut, and I didn't stop bleeding until 2 days. Like my blood was going crazy. Like it was bleeding a lot. It was very liquid, and I know it has to do because of the blood thinners, well, the aspirin that I'm taking, which thins out your blood. So that's another thing. If you do have APS and you're watching this video because of you, be very careful when dealing with knives and stuff like that, but try not to panic. I did panic the first time a lot because I was like, oh my god, like it's the 2nd day and it still doesn't stop bleeding. But I was just applying a lot of pressure. My husband, he was wrapping it, and we basically just applied a lot of pressure until it stopped bleeding. I'm fine now. It's not bleeding anymore, but I still have a band-aid on because I don't want it to like open up again and then I start bleeding again. And then this one I got yesterday. I kind of sliced my finger here. I think I was cutting up some grapes, and the same thing happened. I was bleeding a lot. It was very runny. Today is day 2 and I still see the little blood on there. Like I think if I squeeze it, blood is just gonna come out. So that's why I have a band-aid on it too, and you know, applying some pressure on it as well. But the last thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, if you are somebody that has been diagnosed with APS, you need to have a lot of support, a lot of help. Don't feel bad to ask for help if you can't do it yourself. I used to hate asking for help. I used to just do everything myself. Like I hated even asking my husband for help, even though he helps me out a lot, or he's like, oh, just tell me and like whatever, I'll help you. I want to just do things myself, but you need to have a lot of support. My grandma, she still doesn't really understand this disease, this syndrome. So she does understand that I do feel pain and that I do have aches, but sometimes she's like, oh, it's because necesitas comer bien, you need to eat good, or you need to exercise more. And like, yeah, I know I need to exercise more, which I have, but sometimes I just can't. Like I don't have the energy, I don't have the strength, and I just can't, you know. So I just try to tell her like, hey grandma, like it's not really like that. Like it's not that I don't want to do things or that I'm too lazy, it's just I can't. Like I take pain meds and stuff, and she's like, now that I've been more interacting more with her, I've been visiting her more, she's seen me like in pain, and like she understands a little bit more now. Like, you know, she doesn't take it so lightly as she used to. I feel like now she's, with the time, you know, I feel like she's been understanding it a little bit more and, you know, helping me a little bit more as well. My mom, she has been my like right there with me, and I really appreciate it. She's been the one that I've been telling like, hey, my labs came back like this, or I'm gonna do this, I'm seeing this doctor tomorrow, or whatever. She's been right there by my side with me through everything, and she understands it, you know. My mother-in-law, she also knows about it. I also told her, you know, she was the one that helped me go to the doctor over there, and she'll help me with some stuff, you know, and she'll also like ask me like, oh, when are you going to the doctor, or how have you been feeling, stuff like that. My close family members, they also know about it, and they're also very supportive, and they ask me how I've been feeling. And my husband, like, he has been helping me so much, and he's always the one, like, sometimes I get mad at him because he's like, hey, you need to take your medicines, like, you're not gonna feel better if you don't take them. And I'm one like, no, I'm tired of taking a lot of meds, I don't want to take them. But he's been right there with me, like, he's he's basically been like my sugar daddy and all this, because he's been paying out of pocket, he's been supporting me, he's been supporting my health. So I just really appreciate that, and he knows, he understands, like he'll go with me to the doctor when he's not working. And I just really, you know, you need that, you need to have that support, you need to be able to talk about it to someone, because as you guys saw, like I broke down right now, and sometimes like I'll still break down, like to my grandma or to my mom or to my husband, and it's hard, but you just need to have that emotional support. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap up this video with that being said. I really do hope that this helps somebody out there that's just like me, that's confused, still new to this, and we're strong, we're survivors, we battle every single day. I like to think of ourselves as like Wonder Woman or Superman if you're a male because we literally struggle and we battle through it every single day, and nobody is ever gonna understand the pain that we feel. Nobody's ever gonna understand nobody's ever gonna feel the pain that we're feeling. So yeah, it can be hard, but as long as you know that you're a warrior, we're all warriors. And I'm super happy that I filmed this for the month of June, for APS Awareness Month. I feel like this disease needs to be brought up more, and it needs to be studied more. It needs to be put out there more, because there's a lot of people like me, and even though it is super rare, it sucks for the people that do have it, that don't have that many resources, that don't really understand what it is, or, you know, I feel like there should be a support group. So if you want to start an APS support group, if you have APS and you're watching this video, comment down below and maybe we can start something, and it'll be like a support system basically. You know, I haven't came across any. But we can do something. I'm definitely excited, and I would be so down to do that. I'm happy now. I know I was crying earlier, but I'm happy now that I did this, and I just hope I can help somebody out, somebody in the same position as me, or that, you know, my close friends or family understand this a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just gonna close out the video. Hopefully I can start getting to myself again, and I can start getting my energy back, so I can continue vlogging and continue putting stuff out there for you guys. But yeah, I guess I'll see you until my next video, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I really do appreciate the help and the support. Bye guys.